On screen is Hans Niemann's statement after the match with Jan Nepomniachtchi after Jan said some things about Hans Niemann. And whilst we dive in on it, we've got to enjoy the latest footage from the Uzbek Chess Cup just kicked off. Hans Niemann, Jan Nepomniachtchi not even acknowledging each other, no handshake. Now I'm going to show you the game in this video that kicked off all the drama. Really feels like it's where it started. After that game, which Nepo lost, it levelled the match. Nepo said in particular that with no inaccuracies, like my younger years, Hans Niemann played the final game. So he's insinuating that Hans was cheating. Now he's made this insinuation after losing the final game pretty categorically. We're going to have a look at it. We can all make up our own opinions here. It levelled the match. They were disputing prize fund stuff. They were disputing what else? Oh, playing for a tie break. Niemann wanted one. Nepo didn't. Have a look at the statement yourself that Hans Niemann made. Obviously there's other storylines to this, but that's the main one. Now let's take a look at this game here, and of course we can decide for ourselves. Is this a weird looking game? Well, no, it's not. I can tell you straight up front, but let's just admire the game. A Rossolimo, it's incredible. Of course, they were both playing under a ton of anti-cheating measures. Nepo made this insinuation after losing this game, levelling the match. Very salty, let's be honest. It was another Sicilian, which Nepo was playing all match here. Closed structure, so Niemann's knights are doing fine against the bishops here. And knight f6 is the best move. f5's played by Nepo. Now this is actually a mistake. Looks nice, expansive, opening the boards for the bishops. But the knight rotates round, picks up a tempo. Queen d7 played. Surely you now take. Definitely is a good move. Pick up the bishop pair. But a3 is even stronger. Niemann playing a real top game here, high level of accuracy, 98%, b4's on the cards, so Nepo shuts it down, and now knight d2, rotating, heading for a theatre near you, it lands, looking for the fork here, and that's why knight d5, covers this jump, f4 from Niemann, look at the roar, look at the passion. Of course, that's not the roar that happened in this game. It was from a while back when he beat Hikaru, I think for the first time. Titled Tuesday. Bishop now recaptures. You can't take with the knight because rook takes and you're double whammying this piece and threatening to fork. So you can't deal with everything at once. You know, get out the forking way and retreat the piece. So castles was played. Best move. Knight takes was now played. Why this is the precise timing, the precise moment to do that, I don't know. I didn't click that deep. But either way, white stands better. I mean, the big black centre looks impressive, but it's just really hard to get it rolling. This is a tactical issue. And even if the knight moved and you didn't have the tactical issue and you got the pawns going, well, you give a very juicy e5 square. This bishop's a bit passive. So rook takes was played. Queen takes back. And now this move not forced. But in many lines, a4's a good push. It keeps coming up. I guess it clamps on the pawns. Prepares rook b8. But let's watch that pawn. Because later it becomes a weakness. Bishop f8 is now prudent. Sometimes this bishop's a tactical liability when the queen and rook double. But when I clicked, for quite a while, the black position is really tough to play. It's just passive. And white's got all these slow kind of creeping, improving moves. You know, if white ever plays h6 or black, sorry, you creep in and you pressure this pawn. You know, it's under fire twice. Imagine 3 times. Sometimes you trade queens. Sometimes you target this pawn here. If the knight ever moves, sometimes there's tactics with distracting the knight and going for the bishop. It's just a bit tough. And that explains why Nepo cracks under the pressure. He first covers this checking square. King h2 is prudent. h6, queen e4, just probing. And Nepo now lashes out. apparently rook f8 best. He plays pawn g5. Going for the weirdness, the space gain, but simple moves, simple chess just unlock Nepo's position. There's a ton of pressure now on this position here, this knight rather. So Nepo takes, rook recaptures, and now the queen's hitting the pawn, and the bishop is attacked twice. It's an issue. You have to save the piece, of course, and now the pawn drops off the board. That's a clean passer, one to the good for Niemann. h5 now goes for the weirdness. h4, bishop h6, x-rays the rook. Niemann doesn't care. g4 comes, and he simply moves the rook. All's good, all's well. You've got a wonderful bathtub. Black's got the BBC. That's big black centre, but it's just not enough. It's the black king that's exposed. It's black that's a pawn down. It's black with the weak pawns that can be targeted. Over here and here. This is how the game proceeded. Push 'em, baby, as Yasser would say. a5, there it goes. Bishop g7. Queen hits a check. The rooks leave the board. And after king h7, rook e1. Don't go for the exchange, by the way. You simply can't stop this one rumbling through. We see this to stop the pawn. Now this is on the board. And after takes here, we don't even see the bishop take. Then bishop c3 is very annoying. Starts bringing the position back to level. So pawn a6. And the point is, if you try and spin over and eat the pawn, there's this check. A rude awakening, and you just can't bring the bishop back. You're not in time. Through she goes. So let's back up. None of this. None of this. We saw pawn c4. Explosive, but too slow. Niemann backs up. Covers the square. a7's on the way. Takes. No, not takes, sorry. Hits the rook. Now takes. And here Nepo resigns. Because you just can't stop a7. Once it lands on the board, you'll have to give up the rook. So that's how it ended. The 8-game match ended one apiece in terms of wins. The rest were draws. They drew the match. It led to this statement. It led to this offer of a tiebreak that wasn't accepted. It led to the prize fund dispute. And then it led to these comments by Nepo insinuating that that game by Niemann was just a bit too accurate. Very salty, I think. Let's be honest here. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of chess drama. Of course, feel free to agree or disagree with me in the comments. That's the way of the world. Thanks as always for watching anyway, and have a look at the video on screen if you want to see a bit more epic chess. Cheers.